Welcome to episode 19 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinert and I'm recording this in Bremen, Germany. Today, Meet the GIMP will cover panoramic photography, making panoramas with open source software. It's not in the GIMP, but a different program called Hugin. At the moment, you are looking at a panorama which was made by Chinese artists in the 12th century. This is a repainting. You'll see further details at the show notes at meetthegimp019. I show you this because I saw 4 of these panoramas in reality about 20 years ago in Berlin, and they have impressed me that much that I want to share a bit of this impression. Imagine a dimly lit room and a painting, or drawing better said, that delicious that you can count the sticks and the fire of some peasants cooking a meal at the edge of the painting, and this painting being, well, about 60 centimeters or a bit more high and meters long and detailed up to the end. Back to the stuff I wanted to say before I start the show in earnest. I had a bit of a mix-up with the episode titles. So this here is number 19, number 17 has been double, and the second 17 is 18. I'm sorry for that. It was a typical think after you have copied and pasted, and I didn't do that. But I was afraid to change the title after I've published that, because I don't want it to get another feed download avalanche running. And then there's a second thing. I got a nice email from Professor Lawrence Lessing. He is head of the Creative Commons organization, and he asked for some support. And when you go to meetthegimp.org, you'll find on the right side a widget where you can, please, with your credit card in hand, click on it and give the Creative Commons some money. The Creative Commons is a great thing, mix between copyright. This here is, of course, copyright by me. But I put this under the Creative Commons license, and you can do a lot with it, not everything, but a lot with it without asking. And the video you'll see now is also under the Creative Commons license, and even if I hadn't asked Joseph, which I have, I could show you this video here about Hugin panorama software. And a big thank you to Joseph for making this.
Hi, my name is Joseph, and today I'm going to be showing you how to stitch together panoramic photos with the free open source software Hugin. Hugin can be downloaded at hugin.sourceforge.net. There you can view the tutorials you can download, or you can view documentation. If you have a chance, I recommend that you check out this video on the future of Hugin. A lot of cool stuff coming. So now let's check out some photos here. The photos can be taken in any order, and what's recommended is that you set the camera's exposure mode and you specify the white balance, such as sun or shade, across all the photos. You're also going to want to shoot for 20 to 30% overlap between the photos, and if there's a principal feature such as this lake here, you're going to want to capture that all in one shot in the center of the shot to avoid any lens distortion or vignetting. So now let's open up Hugin. When you first open Hugin, you see this Assistant tab, and it allows you to step-by-step automate the tasks of everything. So we're going to click Load, and we're going to hold the Control key and grab these 4 photos. And the first thing it's asking me is something about my camera and my lens. It's asking me about my horizontal field of view and the focal length of the lens. So if we look at Wikipedia, you can see that the angle of view is also what's commonly referred to as the horizontal field of view. You can see a picture of it here. There's also a formula for calculating it here, and this shows a picture of the distance from the camera, how you can calculate that. And you can also get the focal length. And there's formulas for that, and you can get both of these usually from your camera's manual, or for point and click cameras I'm going to use 50 degrees, and I know that 6.4 millimeters is correct, so I enter that for all 4 photos. And once I do that, Hugin is going to present me with another window, and this window is going to be Auto Pano, which takes my photos and calculates points that are the same, or control points. I'm going to use the default level of 12 key points for each one of those, and Hugin's going to go about calculating that for me. I'm going to go ahead and skip to the end of that calculation. When I click exit, I see a preview window here. You can see the distortion that's happened with each of these photos. You can change the projection to get a different type of distortion, a different algorithm. You can see what that does. What I'm going to do is go ahead and use cylindrical. And now let's go to the Images tab. I'll show you a little more about Hugin. Here you can manually set the yaw, pitch, and roll for each of your images. You can add the images here, or we can just let the optimizer do this for us. Also, we can anchor an image and tell Hugin to leave that one mostly alone. Here in the Camera and Lens tab, you can set all your different settings for your camera and lens if you know those. In the crop, you might want to remove something from a fisheye lens or from a scanned-in photo. And then under the Control Point tab, we can manually create control points just like we automatically did with Auto Pano there. And basically what we're doing is feature matching between the photos. And you can see between the photos that are shown in each of these tabs that every feature matches up. And I'm going to manually add one right here. And if I fine-tune that a little bit, you can look on the other side and see that Hugin found where that point was in my other photo. Now you can also change the type of point that we get here, and sometimes we'll have to use a horizontal line, but we'll leave that alone today. And now the Optimizer tab is what aligns all the control points by changing the orientation and lens settings so that your photos match up. Okay, so now let's go to the Stitcher tab. Again, you can see these projections that we were looking at earlier. You can see that it's already calculated a field of view, and here's our Stitch Now button. Now, under the image format, if we choose TIFF, we're going to get the soft blending feature, which uses InBlend. So let's go ahead and stitch one with that. I'm going to add the word blending to the end of that, and save. And I'll go ahead and skip to the end of this, and let's choose multi-layer TIFF mode as well. Notice I don't get the blending on the end of that. Add the word multi and click save. Now let's open up the GIMP, and I'm going to drag in my blending photo here and resize it for the screen and crop it, and you can see that the photo's been blended where my white balance didn't quite match up. And here in the multi-tab, I had to select all of those and import them in. And then you can see each one of these is a layer in the GIMP, and you can change each photo independently, such as changing the curves here to get those to match up. And that concludes my tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I hope you get to check out meetthegimp.org.
This was Joseph about the open source software Hugin. And if you have something to contribute to Meet the GIMP, I'm very happy to include that into the show. There are a lot of things you out there know a lot more about it than me, and I'm definitely no GIMP guru. I use this stuff for some time, and I'm just the guy who found the courage to talk about it into a microphone. So please send me some stuff if you are an expert on some of this stuff, and if you follow the news about the GIMP more than I am doing that, perhaps you can write something for the blog. I'm happy to give away login accounts for that, so that you can publish something about the GIMP, and the value of meetthegimp.org as a resource is getting larger, bigger with that. Of course, after seeing this video, I had to try this, and I went out and shot this panoramic photos that you have seen in the last minute. Well, not panoramic photos. I just went outside, walked about 100 meters up the street where we have a place, and there I simply turned around, set my camera to manual metering, manual exposure, made some test shots to get the exposure about right in the bright and the dark parts, set the white balance to shady, a fixed value. I switched off autofocus and set my lens to 12 mm. I used a Tokina 12 to 24 mm lens for this. And as an afterthought, I shouldn't have used 12 mm, but something a little bit more upwards from that, because at 12 mm the distortion in the edges is quite large. But okay, I did it this way. And then I just looked up the street, shot, fixed the point where I had the center of the shot, and with my eye, and turned to the side, and when this point just has left the viewfinder, I shot again. And so I took these pictures, one time turning around, and then I put them in Hugen, just the way Joseph has shown in his video. There was one difference, because I used JPEGs straight out of the camera. All this information about the lens was already in there. And, well, the first panorama you see here. I have to say the Bremen Town Council manages to get the streets a little bit more level, and this was not the best that could have been made out of this, and I had to do a bit more work, and that was selecting some lines, these borders between the houses, setting reference points on them, and declaring them not as normal in this box below, but as a vertical line. And then I recalculated this, and this panorama came out of it. And if you look very careful, you can see there are some ghosts running around, people without a head, or a head without a people, and some other strange stuff. Some of the houses are not quite that vertical. I was a bit lazy with all these points. But I think for a first try and about an hour or so of work, no more, 2 hours and 1 hour, it was quite nice. After I've found out that making panoramas is quite easy, I think it's time for you to do the same. And so I'm declaring this as the new challenge for you. Make a panorama with Hugen or some else open source software and put it onto 23 on the photo group meetthegimp.org. And I'll say you have time for doing this to mid-December. And around mid-December, when I'm recording the show, I'm getting another guest for being my Lotto Fee. Lotto Fee is the female announcer of the results of the state lottery here on the TV. Well, I get someone to make a random choice of all the entries, and then the prize will again be membership at 23 worth €20 and sponsored by 23. Well, that was it for this week, and I'll hope to see you around next week for another episode of Meet the Gimp. Then it will be already number 20. Goodbye.
photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the podosphere. photocastnetwork.com